Let me pull up.
I should probably like share that I'm live, like on
Yeah,
Facebook and shit.
probably. I mean, I here's the thing. I'm not like super promoting it because I still think like I still think like this is very much. I feel like it's like open micing streaming.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm I was doing it so much like 5 years ago. I was like a lean machine, and I definitely feel although I felt better about like last week.
Yeah.
I just don't love my current setup. My current setup is, you know, not as good as what I used to have, and my chair's broken, so it's a little lopsided. So I'm like
Ah.
sitting awkward in it. I do need to buy a new chair because this is also my work chair and it's just fucking dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's why I put I've been putting the story up, and that goes on Instagram and Facebook, but I think like if we get more on a roll and stuff, and like especially like if I feel like if we start to like really like get like a following, and and we start to like get like a decent amount of people in here weekly, then totally would push it harder, and especially if I feel better about my performance.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, um,
How is your week?
oh, it was all right. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's just been weird. It's like I feel like since I mean, I kind of always feel like this, but also
Hmm.
just since we moved, I just
Hmm.
feel like I have not had a single fucking day to chill. Um,
Mm.
and it is really wearing on me.
You gotta carve that time out, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, and then it's rough because like there's always like fucking something to get done on like days off, and it's like I gotta go get this
Yeah.
thing from somewhere, and like now I've got to do like all my car shit, because I've
Hmm.
pushed that to the absolute last minute, and probably am already like
Hmm.
technically out of legal bounds with my car setup, but like, yeah, I gotta get my fucking new license and registration and um all this. And it's like this shit drives me crazy because like um
Hmm.
you know again, it's like I'm lucky to have one weekday off every week. I work Tuesday to Saturday, so like I can actually go and do shit like that on Mondays, um
Hmm.
and not have to like take time off. But uh it's just like, okay, so this one day I have to do everything that needs to get done.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it's like, all right, well, the clock's ticking and now I have to wait a week. Um, and yeah, and now like this shit is pissing me off because I just got like a notice from the RMV, is what they call it in Massachusetts. Um,
Hmm.
and
Is it the
they were like,
DMV in Pennsylvania?
yeah.
Okay.
Um, and the RMV was like, you don't have car insurance in Massachusetts anymore. I'm like, yeah, because I don't live there. I don't drive there. Um, and they're like, well, you better get it, or you gotta pay us $50, asshole. And I'm just I'm like, this why is it like this? Like, am I still in the same fucking country or what? Like why is it that you go, you know, 300 miles west? I'm
Hmm.
still in America, like it's the same currency, the same language.
Hmm.
Like, the driving works basically the same. Everyone's an asshole on the road in Philly, like they are in Boston, and um, it's like what suddenly
Does
like
Pennsylvania require you to have insurance like Massachusetts does, where you're like
yeah, yeah,
penalized
and
for it?
and I sorted that out a few weeks ago, but it's
Hmm.
like the license and registration I have to update, and now like they're like, we're going to rescind your registration in Massachusetts because you don't have insurance in Massachusetts now. So I'm like, oh, well, I really need to get this done, or my car is just not going to have registration.
Damn.
Um, so yeah, it's just insane. It's just like, dude, like what the fuck are we like? I have a car, I drive, like, I don't have dings on my license. What is the fucking problem that like I go for, it's like, here they say water, and in Boston they say, hey, wicked kid. And like, that's it. That's the difference. It's the same place. It's the same country. So stupid.
I mean, just from my experience in Pennsylvania a couple weekends ago, also you guys got like an Avatar like series of mountain ranges and the like we were driving just it's just you could just go and hide in those mountains, man. Just
Yeah.
drive west for a couple hours and just, hide
Right.
in the
Yeah.
Poconos, bro.
There's a turn around. There's just like a flock camera on one of the trees. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's
fuck.
probably
There you got it. Got us by the balls.
Oh man, speaking of adventures, I I watched The Odyssey this past weekend, which was
Oh yeah.
actually. Have you seen that yet?
No.
It ruled. I loved it, and I was like, I like Nolan overall. I'm not like a Nolan super fan. A good friend of mine, who you may or may not remember from the Facebook group I run, but he's a huge Nolan fan. He's a Nolan, super fanboy. I mean, I think like The Prestige and like The Dark Knight and I think Inception. Like I think he's made like a handful of like out and out classics.
Yeah.
I was an Interstellar hater, which I think I've been historically proven wrong on. That has like I think that has stood the test of time.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, I liked
Oppenheimer.
Interstellar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie, but I was a little meh on it. I did. Did you ever see the Dan Harmon did like on his podcast? He like shat on, um, he shat on Interstellar because of the bookcase scene at the end. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He had actually a great bit where it's just like, it's just why was it stupid for a minute at the end there? It was stupid.
Yeah.
But but I think that it has. I made a bet with my buddy Dan. Um, Actually 10 years ago that Interstellar would not be remembered as a classic, and then it got like this big 10th anniversary re-release and like
Wow.
was getting mega glazed and shit, and I'm so glad that neither of us could remember what the bet was because he would have won it, but we have both agreed like, oh well, we know that we made the bet, but I don't know what I owe you now, and he couldn't remember, so so I win. But and I liked Oppenheimer. I thought Oppenheimer, like, it's not my favorite movie I've ever seen, but I do understand why people consider it a masterpiece, and I understood why it like won so many Oscars a couple years back. Right? The Odyssey is like might be like a top 3 Nolan movie for me. It is just visually insane. It is just like it feels it. I know that like it's gotten some like complaints and shit. I do think that there's like a handful of people that are wildly miscast in it. I don't think any of them are any of the dark skinned actors that are in it. Like I think like it's just like these motherfuckers were so mad about like Lupita Nyong'o, who is just like drop dead gorgeous, right? And they were mad about Zendaya, who is just fantastic and is going to, is already like a generational talent and is just going to, like, when she wins an Oscar eventually, I don't think she's going to win an Oscar for this or anything, probably anything she's done this year. But I think she's already won an Emmy, right, for Euphoria.
Mm.
But she's gonna, but by the end of her run, I mean, like literally, I don't know if you saw the drama from earlier this year, but I think she deserves a nomination for the drama at the very least.
Mm.
I don't think she's deserves an Oscar nom for this. She's only in the movie for like 7 minutes or some shit, and she
Of
doesn't do
course.
much. But she's notable. Even in her 7 minutes, she's impactful, right?
Yeah.
But I think Matt Damon does the best acting I've ever fucking seen. But it's like people should have been complaining about Benny fucking Safdie. Benny fucking Safdie, like the moment like where like he pops up, it was like a jump scare. I was like, that's Benny fucking Safdie. I've been like, and he wears this big suit of armor, and it's like that whole time I've been seeing this dude in this big suit of armor, and it is Benny fucking Safdie, and he just
Mhm.
it, but it feels like Nolan's version of like this is like like the sword and sandals epics of like the 1940s, right? Where you had
Yeah.
like these big grandiose mega budget things, but then you had like Charlton Heston, and he just had his fucking Charlton Heston voice, and wasn't
Mhm.
even like trying to like be anything other than Charlton fucking Heston, right? Like this is that. This is the 2026 version of that, right?
Right.
But Matt Damon, I think like at least deserves a nom. I think Anne Hathaway is fantastic. I think Robert Pattinson is a blast. Um, the first 20-ish minutes, Tom Holland is kind of like the protagonist of the movie, and he doesn't do he's fine, but you can feel how hard he's trying, and you can feel like the pressure on him, right? And then once like the plot kind of becomes more like it becomes the Matt Damon adventure hour, right? As they get into like Odysseus and his travels and stuff, and you're hearing stories about Odysseus, so you're just getting a ton of Matt Damon screen time. And once the burden of carrying the movie is no longer on Tom Holland, I actually think he does a good job. And I actually think by the end of the movie, I was like, you know what, Tom? I gotta give it to you. I thought you could only be Spider-Man, but you can be Spider-Man, and this guy's kind of Spider-Man. So you can be your version of Spider-Man in more things than just Spider-Man. Good job. I'm not
Right.
going to call you an actor yet, or a great actor yet, and I'm pretty sure that you're only here because Timothy Chalamet was busy. But like I'm like 90% sure that just Timothy Chalamet couldn't make this fucking movie work, and then Zendaya was like, "Hey, can you put my husband in this? Can we get? Hey, my husband's not doing anything. He's between Spider Mans right now. Can you put my husband
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this?
He's
He'd
spending a lot
really
of time
like
at
to.
home. He's got
Yeah,
like weird woodworking projects and stuff. And
yeah. So and he does a solid job. He's not Timothy Chalamet. Did you see Marty Supreme?
no, I
Oh,
haven't seen movies in
you
year.
don't
Like
watch
I'm
movies, bro.
not a lot.
What do you watch?
um, I mean, there's a lot of Star Trek content. So once I became a big Star Trek fan, that took up a lot of my time.
You're just a big Star
Um,
Trek guy.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like, what have I watched? Um, Starting to watch some like older stuff because we have we've been like going back to physical media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, we're like trying to save some money on streaming services and like
Mm-hmm.
get out of that fucking cycle where it's like, oh, all of this stuff is on this platform. Like, oh no, it's not. It's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we just have like like stacks of DVDs now. Um, and what have I watched? I don't know. I have the Rocky movies lined up because I have never seen those, and I'm like, well, I got it. This is my second time living in Philly. I have to see the Rocky movies.
I don't
Um,
think I've ever watched a single Rocky movie straight through.
yeah, yeah. I saw the first Creed movie, and I
How
was
was
like,
that?
I don't know. I thought it was decent,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yeah, it's like I mean, I feel like I'm missing some of the lore here. I kind of know what happens, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The last movie I remember really liking, um, I saw probably a year and a half ago. The hell
Mm-hmm.
is this movie called? Brendan Fraser plays this kid who uh who his dad is played by Christopher Walken, and he's
Oh,
like
the Mummy.
the no uh he like
Oh,
puts them into a bomb shelter because he thinks they're getting nuked.
George of the
And
Jungle.
no, um, fuck, what is this movie called? Uh,
I Blast from the Past, right? I think
is
that
that
blast.
yeah?
That
That sounds right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I remember clips. I remember pieces of that.
yeah. I like that. For some reason, I saw like a Facebook reel or something about it, and I was like, oh
Hmm.
fuck, I'll watch that. That looks good. Um, yeah, that I like that kind of stuff. That
Hmm.
sort of. I guess Brendan Fraser does a lot of that stuff. Encino Man, George of
Well,
the
he
Jungle,
used to,
like
I mean, he's a much different actor now.
true.
He's a portly guy. Actually, I did watch. I never finished it. I should go back and finish it because I hear it's good the whole way through. God, what's the name of that show? Brendan Fraser, uh, DC show.
Hmm.
Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is a lot of fun. I enjoyed Doom Patrol greatly. Also, before I watched The Odyssey, um, my because my buddy Dan came over. My buddy Dan. This has been a very Dan centric
Mhm.
stream so far. But he came and we watched hours and hours of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is my favorite anime, and goddamn that show rules. Anyway, let us start the show. We've been yapping for about 15 minutes. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so let me pull up. So we got a couple things happening. We got two really big primaries that are
Yeah.
currently two very one of them very hotly contested. I think the Michigan Senate primary is absolutely like I think like because we also got like Wisconsin, right? And I feel like Wisconsin is a bit more, I wouldn't say decided, but it seems a little bit less competitive. It seems like, based on the polls that you were telling me about before we started streaming, right?
Yeah. Double
Wisconsin
digit
seemed
lead.
Yeah, she has like a double digit lead in the polls, and she's got like the real heat behind her, and she's got the fucking, Francesca Hong. She's got
Yeah.
the
The it's a it's a recent development. I mean, I think it was a little more uncertain for a bit because I mean,
there's
she
like
was
five
doing
people,
well.
right?
Yeah, she was doing well, and then they tried, I think, to do like a 2020 presidential primary fuck over
Hmm.
Bernie style thing.
Hmm.
Um and it just didn't really work cuz like I think the sort of like establishment um handpicked candidate
Hmm.
ended up dropping out because like there was some big like embezzlement scandal with her campaign. Like I don't
Awesome.
know, she might not have even been involved, but like something like that just did her in. Um, and so that yeah, it's just not working. Like they're trying to do it. They tried to do it with Zoran. Like it's just not fucking working. And then the debate last night, I think, just pushed her over the edge.
Yeah, I know that she had a really good debate showing, but you know who else had a really good debate showing? Abdul El fucking Saeed.
Oh
That
yeah,
dude, he was on so hard. He did such a great job that immediately just the station Fox 2 that put this on, they did a poll, and like it was like who won the debate, and 96% of the viewers watching voted Abdul. Like these were like people like who had like, like immediately after those people like,
yeah.
anyway, so let's watch. So we're not going to watch the whole thing because this is like, excuse me, an hour, but I do want to play some of it, and I do want to react to some of it and see if we can find some of the big moments. I don't know how much, have you seen any clips of this?
Um, of the debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I definitely saw some of. Yeah.
to ask. The candidates will not address one another directly, but if statements are made about another candidate on stage about a policy point or substance over punches tonight. Now, I want to welcome the two Democratic U.S. Senate candidates, former Wayne County Health Director Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed and Congresswoman Haley Stevens. To both of you, we give you a warm Fox 2 welcome. We thank you for being with us. We're taking your questions, by the way, via text, and many of those will be asked in the second half hour. Send them to
some people,
248-200-5042.
Some people may have thought that this moderator
the system almost
was
crashed.
in the
So
bag
many of you have
for
questions.
Abdul.
We know more of you will, so get on that as soon as you can. Dr. Al-Sayed, you get the first opening statement tonight.
I think it's just
something. Yeah, this is just something people are not used to,
so
which is like fact
doing his
checking
job.
and like yeah, just giving a shit at all about what's real.
Well, I mean, I think like he's in the bag for Abdul in the sense that he doesn't stop until he gets an answer to some of his questions, and Abdul answers most of his questions, right? I think there's a couple times, because I did skim through this earlier, there's a couple times where I think Abdul waffles a little bit and the guy like kind of follows up with Abdul. But the problem is that Haley Stevens, she just cannot answer a question. She just gives everything that she gets asked, she just goes into platitude mode, right? She just goes into, her fucking shit. Good clean debate. So the Marxist archaeologist says good clean debate candidates are once again asked to refrain from racial slurs and foul language. Yeah, as which is what I thought that Trump was going to bring us back to, the good old days of debating where all that stuff was on the table. But
I know.
Alas.
Here we go. Woke 2.0 is here.
Here's woke. These woke debates. But yeah, so let's watch some of this.
Grateful to be here. My name is Abdul Al-Sayed. I'm a doctor. I became a doctor because I go 15 minutes from where I grew up and travel a difference of 10 years difference in life expectancy. Instead of practicing clinically, I went into public health, rebuilt Detroit's health department, led Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services. We did things like put glasses on kids, took on corporate polluters, made sure that our kids weren't breathing the worst coming out of smokestacks, and eliminated medical debt. But I'm running because it just shouldn't be this hard. I've been down to 110 different cities, 475 public events. I could go to a living room in Lansing. I could be in a church in Detroit. No matter where I go, people tell me, I need to be able to afford my groceries. I need to be able to afford my gas. I need to be able to see a doctor when I get sick. My friend is going to frame this race about me and her. It's not about that. It's about you. It's about what you deserve. It's about you deserving the politics that's not bought off by the same corporations picking your pocket at every single turn. I'm looking forward to the conversation about how we get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, and pass Medicare for all. Thank you, Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed. Next up, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, you have 1 minute for your opening statement tonight.
Well, thank you to everyone tuning in tonight. As we know, the stakes of this race couldn't be higher. Costs continue to go up. Our health care, voting rights, civil rights, it's all on the line, in addition to Social Security and Medicare. And if Mike Rogers wins this race, all goes by the wayside. Look, Michigan deserves a...
I saw somebody post that it says if Haley, she sounds like Maria Bamford. Hell yes. I saw somebody posted on Threads. It was like, if Haley Stevens wins this primary, the only people that will really benefit are the SNL cold open writers.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh yeah, let's like bring fucking let's bring A.D. Bryant back as like a fan cast, like that's like that would be a good, like, oh, A.D. Bryant's gonna be around for this season to play, the fucking Haley Stevens. I feel like that would be something like, if this were happening during A.D. Bryant's heyday, then we would absolutely. But yeah, she's a cartoon character. She is a cartoon character.
She's so ridiculous, and like just this whole, like, she's clearly trying to like smile and look, presentable and friendly, and it's just like it just comes off so weird. There's been a lot said about, like, kind of personal attacks against her in this race, and it's like, I'm not trying to like be sexist or anything. It's just like she's a weird person, and she's not like selling the grift very well.
She's got real Rugrats all grown up energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah,
senator who can win and who can deliver. I'm the only one on the
win.
stage who has flipped a Republican seat, and I was named Michigan's most effective Democratic lawmaker in Congress because my only focus is you. Abdul is running for celebrity. Republicans are propping up his campaign, and Mike Rogers just the other day said in a secret phone call that he makes it easier for him to win, that he's the one he wants to.
First of all, they love to say this like effective shit, and I love like. This used to be a big thing with Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi. I would get this shit all the time. It's like, but they're effective. I'm like, effective at what? What do they do?
Yeah.
Like, it's that matters. That actually is part of the equation. Like, yeah, good. I'm glad you're good at your job. But like, if your job is to like put babies in a meat grinder, like I'm not happy about your effectiveness. And then this shit she said about like Republicans propping up his campaign. It's so disingenuous because like I don't know what that even fucking means. She might be referring to this thing where Mike Rogers was asked like, you know, do you think you could win Abdul against Abdul? Yeah, and he was like, yeah, I feel good about it. Right. So then her campaign, her campaign took that as like, oh, see, he thinks that he would have an easier time beating Abdul because he's a radical leftist, and it's like
the dude's not going to tell his donors we're scared of Abdul. We're hoping it's Haley, right? It's just he's not going to say that. You know, he's got to project confidence, right?
And meanwhile, this lady, she is backed by all this AIPAC money, especially like now they're like redirecting AIPAC money through other like shell packs. And she's getting all of this shit. And it's like, who funds AIPAC? A lot of it is Republicans. It is a pretty right-wing fucking entity. So like, you know, this is something that like Hassan has pointed out a lot. It's like, you say you're more electable because like, you know, you have all this money coming in and like all these endorsements, and it's like, okay, but like where is that money still going to be there in the general? Because there's going to be a real Republican for them to back in the fucking general. So
her entire goal is to beat Abdul. That is her whole goal. If whatever happens at that point, it's like, you know, AIPAC is like, you know, they've got a return on their investment by her winning. They don't care because obviously they support both. Like, you know, like Mike Rogers, you know, gets money. They have the same boss. That's the problem, is that they both have the same. It's just centrist Democrats and Republicans, they have the same boss. It's just if you're taking AIPAC money, if she's taking AIPAC money and Mike Rogers is taking AIPAC money, right? Like they're the same goal. They have the same goal. They have the same out. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're, you know, anyway. So let's just keep going because this is a fun
run against. Look, this isn't about the DC or New York influencer crowd. This is about putting Michigan first, and I've got the receipts to do that, which is why Governor Whitmer and so many others are joining my campaign to win in November.
Governor Whitmer, Dr. Al-Sayed, thank you both for your opening statements. Listen, just want to give an idea
health insurance, darling.
Differently from other debates where perhaps it's a little more formalized. This is going to be a conversation where I am the moderator. I'll ask you questions. The time cues will be given by me. No clocks here. So let's go, and we'll begin with this. Many people have questions about affordability. It's the number one thing we hear about from people. What are they doing in Washington to make sure that life is more affordable for me? Dr. Al-Sayed, what are you doing that's something that perhaps we haven't heard before in Washington that's different to keep the cost of living down? So just tell you, for me, it's I don't take money from the corporations who are jacking up your prices in the first place. When you're bought off by DTE and Blue Cross and Big Pharma and Big Tech and AIPAC, don't be surprised that there's a pro quo that comes with that quid. That money doesn't just fall off trees. $60 million from outside organizations in this race. They just come from nowhere. It's because those exact same organizations expect something on the other side, and that's that they get to expect to own your next U.S. senator. So it starts with being able to say, I'm the only candidate in this race who doesn't take any money from corporations. Never have and never will. And then from there, I actually can stand up to them. I can do things like enforce our antitrust policies that haven't been enforced. I can do things like tax billionaires their wealth so we can take that money and invest it in you and your kids, in your schools. I can do things like make sure that rather than sending your money somewhere else to drop bombs on other people and their kids, we can keep that money here at home. And just in case you don't believe me, just think about this. Just last week, our friend here voted to send $3.3 billion of your tax dollars to a foreign government. That is the pro quo that comes with the quid of $30 million spent by AIPAC. So it really comes down to how are you funded?
Dr. El-Sayed, thank you. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, we heard a lot from Dr. El-Sayed. Some of that was about your record in Washington. I want you to be able to address that, but also tell us what you would do to keep the cost of living down.
Yeah, our affordability crisis is choking us out here in Michigan. You know, everywhere I go, if it's at the fish fry in downtown Detroit, or the working single mom who just the other day told me her health care costs continue to go up, that the grocery bill is only getting harder. We don't need lip service. We need action. And Abdul's going to talk about where employees from certain corporations are spending their money, but let me tell you about what I am doing, because DTE and our utility companies are selling out their ratepayers. And I'm giving them an option.
I'm giving them
DTE,
$1 billion to do more of
it,
it.
or lose your federal funds.
That's why they're giving me money.
Executive pay.
Yeah.
Look, we need proven fighters in these positions, and that is what I have done time and time again. I've got the receipts to show it, and this is also why Governor Whitmer and AG Nessel, you know, two proven fighters who want to see results, have endorsed me in this race, because Michigan, it needs a workhorse in the United States Senate, sleeves rolled up, ready to.
I saw a clip of, or isn't there a clip going around of like Whitmer like talking to some CEO of some organization, and she's like straight up saying like, oh yeah, it's just, you gotta just force in the AI data centers. You just can't even give them a chance to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're used to
say no. Or
yeah, it was like we're used to doing things anyway when people don't like it. It's like that's it. That's the whole game.
That's who's endorsing you. You know, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, but yeah, man, this is
tackle
so
our
good.
problems on day one.
15.
And I'm not just stopping there. Let's lower the cost of groceries with my bill. No tariffs on groceries.
I do want to get into the weeds a bit with this, because I want to ask you a very direct question that so many people
I
ask
like
us.
that.
I'm trying to smile.
Proven fighters who want to see results have endorsed me in this race, because Michigan, it needs a workhorse in the United States Senate. Sleeves rolled up, ready to tackle our problems on day one.
15.
And I'm not just stopping there. Let's lower the cost of groceries with my bill. No tariffs on groceries.
I do want to get into the weeds a bit with this, because I want to ask you a very direct question that so many people ask us.
Oh my God.
Are these folks getting money from big utilities?
Like lizard, like
Congresswoman Haley Stevens, are you taking money from your campaign from DT or consumers?
It's like
No,
those
but
old
let me-
clips where they would like they'd be like you know, Obama blinks sideways in this clip or something, you know, like
just like
there's
but
one
yeah.
there's one that's so fucking funny where he's like, it was from Obama's term, and he was like about to come out and give a speech on the Rose Garden, and like this mouse runs out from a bush and then runs back in, and then Obama comes out. It was like Obama forgets to turn back to human form before coming out.
Let's keep the shit rolling. Okay.
Say this, Roop. I have been transparent. I have been transparent throughout this campaign, and let me just say this, that the only thing that ever motivates my work is the people of Michigan, the people who I hear from. You know, my opponent is on these big podcasts. You know, he's running a podcast himself. These folks are making fun of the way I sound, but yet I sound like the people who need help, who are talking to me about what they need
Congresswoman,
done.
that was a follow-up to ask the direct question, whether you're taking money from utilities
And I
or
said
not.
no.
The answer is no. Thank you. Dr. El-Sayed, I'm asking you the same question. Any money from anyone that we don't know about?
No and never, but then $40,000 in direct receipts to her campaign from DTE's corporate PAC. And then there's, I don't know, Center for Democratic Priorities, which released its funders, but then
like
they're behind
times.
these shell organizations, these 501c4s. So I'd really like to revisit that question, because I don't know how to explain $40,000 directly to her campaign from DTE. I'm the only candidate in this race who's never touched a dime of corporate PAC money.
I do want to ask both of you about your campaigns respectively when it comes to certain questions that people have. Congresswoman, we'll begin with you. and we'll dive right into that right now. You've heard many people ask the question about AIPAC, and it seems as though on many instances you haven't directly answered the question. Do you see why some people are bothered by the fact that so much money, $40+ million, has come from AIPAC for these PACs to talk about you and to promote you and to put you up as their candidate?
Yeah, and I appreciate the question, Root, because this moment in this country and here in Michigan, people have every right to be frustrated about our campaign finance system. My opponent here on this stage, Abdul, he's got a super PAC that his father-in-law funds that has millions of dollars going into it. And look, in terms of foreign policy, you know, Abdul and I do differ. I believe in a two-state solution. He has attacked me by name for purporting that the people of Palestine and the people of Israel deserve to live side by side peacefully. The goal is always long-term peace. And also, the Prime Minister of Israel has attacked me by name. They both represent the extremes. Look,
yeah, wait. Did we talk about
want
this?
Peace. They
Wait. Oh, he's talking about Bibi?
Look,
yeah.
Michiganders want peace.
Well, yeah, because Bibi called her out, right? Bibi did an interview and he called her out, but it was like clearly like, they're not stupid. Like they know the optics of, you know, if he were to say nice things about her, he knows that like everybody knows that like Netanyahu's endorsement is toxic. Right, it's like, you know, if he were to say like I support Haley Stevens for Senate, right, like fucking you know, that would be like a death knell for her, right? So instead he goes and he like attacks her. It's like, yeah, he like singles out Haley Stevens in Michigan, like as if like we don't understand what's happening. It's like, oh yeah, you fooled us. Oh no, she's I'm sure Haley Stevens, who is getting so much AIPAC money, is Bibi Netanyahu's worst fucking nightmare. He really doesn't want the woman who's getting the AIPAC money.
Yeah. Well, like they tried. I think they've seen that like in New York. It's you know, I don't think Bibi was commenting on the races there that much, but like you know, Cuomo was openly very pro-Israel.
Wasn't he one of Netanyahu's lawyers at one point or something?
Yeah. Which is insane. And like the other candidates too, like the incumbents they were running against, like the Espaillat guy, like they I think started to downplay it a little. They weren't like full Cuomo, like, no, I love that guy, it's great. But it was still sort of like, no, I go to Tel Aviv and I support, you know, a two-state solution and all this shit. So then here it's like they're trying something new where it's like, what if we try to make them think that she doesn't like you know, that Bibi doesn't like her? And it's like people see through this shit. Like I'm interested to see where this goes, because like I think, you know, we're like the left insurgency here is on a roll, and then maybe in like these general elections, maybe in 2028, there's going to be like some new tactics or something, maybe. But also we're talking about like the American politics, so like we might just keep seeing the same bullshit until like, you know, all these people become irrelevant, or you know, something more disturbing happens.
Yeah,
maybe a 3-letter agency will be involved with.
No, it's gonna be re-education camps for us. For sure.
They deserve to see peace, and that is where I have always cast my vote, and that is the work that I want to do for Michigan and the U.S. Senate.
Specifically about AIPAC money, more than $46 million has been spent on AIPAC spending to back your campaign. A lot of people wonder if that is something where you're going to do their bidding should you win this seat. Is that something people should be concerned about? And if not, why not?
Absolutely not, Roop. Look, I have been very clear, consistent, and transparent, and I have continued to be. I want to see long-term peace. I want to see a two-state solution. I am deeply proud to represent one of the largest Jewish populations in a congressional district in the country. This is a community that I have grieved alongside, that I've mourned alongside. alongside and have fought to bring the hostages home. And I'm still working to get us to long-term peace.
But no concern about the $46 million plus spent on the behalf of AIPAC that should worry people
He's
about
asking
perhaps
you a
doing
question.
the bidding should you win the seat.
Well, I don't think there's much difference between super PACs going in for Abdul or super PACs going in for me. We have a problem with campaign finance reform in this country. I have an A rating from End Citizens United. I have been endorsed by Defend the Vote. I have voted consistently, and I'm going to stop Mike Rogers from getting anywhere close to the United States Senate, which is why he doesn't want to run against me, and which is why somebody like Governor Whitmer is supporting me in this race.
Congresswoman Stevens, thank you. I want to give some equal time here to Dr. El Sayed, and specifically I want to talk to you a little bit about this geopolitical weight that we all feel in this community, which is about the Israel-Palestine issue. It obviously has colored this election greatly. It colors the Democratic Party. How do you see yourself moving forward should you become a senator here, handling the situation with Iran, Israel, and Hamas?
So I just want to say the difference between us is $46 million of AIPAC spending. They've set a record in this race to help elect my opponent because they know that she'll be a reliable vote, just like she took last week to send your tax dollars to a foreign government that is aiding, arming, and abetting the very people who want to foreclose on the possibility of Palestinian self-determination. Look, at the end of the day, my job is to take care of you here. I want to be your U.S. senator. I want your tax dollars in Michigan to provide schools to Michigan, to build healthcare in Michigan, to build roads in Michigan. And I think that money sent over there to kill kids and women is the worst use of our tax dollars. And yet, that's exactly what $46 million in spending will buy you. And I believe deeply that we have a responsibility to make sure that we don't make other people's problems worse. So I believe in equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination for Palestinians and Jewish Israelis alike. I believe that we should not be fighting stupid wars that AIPAC wants us to fight in the first place. And I believe we have a responsibility to keep our money here, to invest here. That really is the difference. We're being outspent in this race 12-1. Chances are you're going to see an ad, probably 2 of them, on behalf of AIPAC for my opponent in the next commercial break. That's what that buys you, lying about a record around President Obama's endorsement or lying about me and my character. But that's exactly what happens when you stand up and say, maybe Palestinians should have rights too, and maybe we should have rights to our tax dollars here at home.
Dr. El Sayed, I'm going to give Congresswoman a chance to respond as you made a couple of accusations there about her record. Go ahead, Congresswoman.
Well, as I said, I have been transparent, and that is why I have released my full tax returns, and Abdul still hasn't. We need to ask him, what's he hiding? What are the Republicans going to uncover in the general election?
I just don't give a shit about any of like this fucking tax return thing. It's like, yeah, like even with Trump, it was a thing, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's got plenty of shady bullshit in there. Yeah. I just don't care about your fucking tax returns. Like, I think there's plenty that we know about these people without having to see that. It's like, what are we supposed to learn from his tax returns? And then they came out and all that it was is like, oh yeah, his wife is rich from some inheritance. And it's like, we knew that.
She's still talking about, but she's still talking about like she even after though, she's been like saying like, oh, you haven't released the financial disclosures or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like she's still trying to like hammer him on some shit, right? Like,
yeah, it's so silly.
I don't know. And it's just so funny that she does that. And then like anytime like she gets asked about AIPAC, she just is like, well, I'm proud to stand with the Jewish community, you know. Just it is just so funny, dude. She is funny. She's a character. I'm gonna miss her when she's gone. I hope she does like somewhere where she's an obnoxious talking head. I would love to see her.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they'll love her on MS Now. That's what it's called now.
Yeah, MS Now. Yeah, put her on MS Now. You know, give her a little fucking, you know, cookie.
Against him. I am the only non-millionaire in this race. I have been recognized as an effective Democratic lawmaker who, yes, governs in a clear, consistent way.
Dude, I would be so pissed if like I were like trying to get a job that I'm not going to be a millionaire in, but like there's like 40 millionaires worth of money had been spent to get me there.
I know.
Like I could be a millionaire 46 times with the amount of money spent to get me in a seat in which I am not a millionaire.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she would, much like the rest of them, find some clever ways to do insider trading and.
Oh yeah,
whatever
no. I mean, I'm sure that she's like, I'm not a millionaire on paper, you know, but with the with the gold, with the treasure chest full of gold that I have in my basement inside the body of a Palestinian child. Okay, anyway.
On complex challenges, I am beholden to the people of Michigan, the people who I hear from when I am in the grocery store line, people who broke down in tears asking me how we can address this affordability crisis. And that is what I am doing. That is what I will do on day one. And I have the receipts to prove it. Dana Nessel agrees with me.
Dr. Alstead, I do want to ask you a question about the tone and the tenor of this campaign.
Agrees with you?
It's safe to say that everyone from Washington to Washington Township in Michigan are sick and tired of people pointing fingers, screaming, yelling, and insulting one another. We've seen a lot of that all across the country. Just earlier this week, we heard that there was some kind of a Zoom call in which you had referenced an opponent as ogre on a pike, and so many people took offense to that. And it really pointed to the bigger question about the tone and tenor that you've been accused of having in this campaign. Do you regret any of the comments that you've made? And do you think that this race could take a more productive and a more substantive tone if we kept those personal slams out?
Look, I took to Twitter last week and said that the tone in which people talk about my opponent is unkind, and I asked anybody who supported me to not talk about her that way. In fact, when she got booed on the stage at the Michigan Democratic Party convention, I called her personally and said that that was unkind. My supporters had nothing to do with it, but I don't think that that's the way we want to do politics. I was referring to a guy named John Fetterman, who's a senator from Pennsylvania, who has done terrible things, got elected on a set of values, and is now completely throwing those values in the mud. And I do think it's important for any senator in Michigan to have a relationship with folks who are in the U.S. Senate. And if those folks are not actually acting in accordance with what they got elected on, I think it's important for all of us to have an honest opinion about what we're going to do to make sure that our Senate looks like the people it represents. But when we talk about unkindness, I also just want to speak to the fact that on behalf of my opponent, UDP, another name for AIPAC, has been running attack ad after attack ad after attack ad on my character. I'm the father of 2 daughters. I'm raising them to be stronger than any man. My wife is a doctor. My mother was the first tenured professor of engineering at her university. I was raised by strong women. To say that somehow, because I wrote an op-ed 15 years ago about First Lady Michelle Obama, or I ran against Governor Whitmer, that somehow I'm disrespecting anybody is just inconsistent with the truth. So I really think it's important for my opponent to speak to why she thinks it's okay to spend $10 million of AIPAC money coming after my character. I'd love to understand that, because I went on Twitter and I said that those comments are unkind. I'd like to see the same thing.
So we're going to get to some questions from
Hello from Politics Tag. Hi, Alania, the Star Bard.
Thanks for coming in.
We're watching this very handsome man debate a large rugrat.
Who's not an ogre. That's someone else.
Not an ogre. Hey, thank you for being here. So I think it is funny, right? That like he did come out and like, hey, everybody, you guys are very rightfully making fun of her voice and mannerisms, right? You guys are nailing it. You guys are, every streamer has a Haley Stevens voice. The what gives? Like everybody, like I'm working on one. I'm working on a Haley Stevens impression. It's just like we gotta just get in there and we gotta
stick it to them.
We gotta stick it to them. It's just the tragedy of October 7th lingers even still today. And Israel comes to me in my dreams. But I think it is very telling, right? That he like went on Twitter, right? He did the obligatory like, yo, everybody, knock it off, right? I don't see her like decry any of like the actual like anti-Muslim like bigotry that this dude, that anybody who, Zoran got a ton of it, right? Like,
yeah,
like
coming from her campaign.
And it's coming. Yeah, AIPAC is like, showing ads, like, that there was somebody that's like, can we put him in a turban? And they're like,
yeah.
It's just
it didn't work with Obama, so
like let's try to maybe if we find a picture of him in a turban, can we run it? And they're like, maybe if you can find it. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think first of all, the grain of salt with anything like this is that like I don't want to be too like
gentle with like the American public, but I do think that when we see shit like this,
Hmm.
a lot of it is these cynical political operatives. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, like not as many Americans as we might think, are like just fucking racist assholes. I think a lot of people are like,
There's a lot of racist assholes, though. I would
oh,
say.
of course. But I
Yeah.
do think that like there is, we are still at a place where like even given Trump and all the racism that came along with that, that
Hmm.
was still like not the majority of the country that was on board with that. And I think plenty of people will look and be like, I don't like that. That seems not cool at all. Or at the
Hmm.
very least would vote for Abdul. He's talked about this, getting people who were like, well, I don't know about you Muslims, but you've got some good ideas, like whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like that's not good either. But it's like I
Hmm.
do think that the like Democrats use it as an excuse when like
Hmm.
Kamala lost and when Hillary Clinton lost. It's like, oh, America hates women, they hate black people, and this is why
Yeah.
we can't have a woman president. Like people are already trying to preclude like AOC running for president because like, oh, but America wouldn't vote for a woman. And it's like, yeah, but like AOC will at least like talk about Medicare for all and shit, and people are gonna
Yeah.
vote for her. Like, they're not gonna be like,
Hmm.
I don't know, this lady seems like an asshole, and I don't like the other guy, so I don't know. Like
Yeah, I mean,
that's
we'll see. I mean, we're
yeah,
we're years away. I mean, and I mean, as much as I think like of like the potential, candidates for 2028, I think AOC is like near the top of the pack for me. I mean, who knows what's going to happen between then and now, right? But I mean, but right here at least, I mean, this dude is weathered a lot, and he's doing, it's like the thing, right? It's like if you're, if you're a minority, if you're a Muslim, right? Like you have to be like extra, like safe for white
yeah,
people, right? You need to be extra nice to white people. Meanwhile, like white people can just hack at you and not have to
right.
answer, right? Like the ogre on a pike shit, right? Like he's getting hammered for that. Meanwhile, like every commercial break that any live viewer was getting is like, this guy partners with Hassan Piker,
Yeah,
who said America deserved 9/11. Like it's
right.
just it is so disgusting and vicious, the double standard. And especially the Democrats, right? You're talking about the Democrats, right? Like they'll blame Kamala, right? But those same people that were running Kamala's campaign at least some of them probably were also running Andrew Cuomo's campaign, and that was just like Islamophobia all the way.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we have going for us.
Right. And it's so that's the thing is like it's I again, like I'm not saying racism's not out there among the American public.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, I think, when it comes to who we're going to vote for and are we going to move past some of this shit to like get to some real issues? And it's like,
Hmm.
well, I think if anyone is perpetuating that shit, it's obviously Republicans, but also
Yeah.
a lot of these fucking Democrats who are so desperate to hold on to power that they
Hmm.
are willing to go there with, they will go anywhere they can with this fucking shit. Um, and they will, uh, maybe they're having less success with it now, but I think, yeah, they will try to stoke like racial tensions to fucking win.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
disgusting.
Yeah, they're awful. Okay, so let's watch to the end of her answer to this question.
Yeah.
Audience in just a moment, but Congressman, I do want to give you a chance to address that civility issue that is lacking severely in American politics. Is this something that the ads that you see on television, whether you paid for them or whether someone else paid for them, do you think they're doing an injustice to voters by just filling the room with vitriol and hate
Like
and
her
not getting to the
smiles
issues?
and her
Well,
blinks.
look, there was
It's
something
so,
else that was
like, yeah.
revealed in the phone call that Abdul was mentioning, which is that he said that he's not going to be able to get much done, that he's not focused on policy for the first 2 years. course, that he is in the United States Senate, that he's going to be focused on national politics. Again, Michigan needs a workhorse, and I am offering these ideas on day one.
Congressman, respectfully,
Yes, well,
I do want to answer the question.
But
Let's
be transparent about what is being said here. And look, Abdul's a great guy. He's a great father. Only he can account for saying that, Whitmer's bought and paid for, or that, no one cares about Debbie Stabenow, or that Mallory McMorrow isn't smart enough. That is certainly on him to respond to, which we certainly just did hear from him on that.
Can I
Dr. Al-Sayed, you have a quick minute here.
Look, I told you at the outset that my opponent was going to make this race about me and her. But this is about you. This is about whether or not you deserve a politics of the people, by the people, and for the people, or of the corporations, by the billionaires, and for the special interests. In an effort to talk about civility, I just took another attack. And I just want you to ask yourself, what is it that you deserve from your politics now? Do you deserve a politician more focused on their opponent because they want to be in a seat? Or do you deserve a politics where we're all asking, how do we actually serve you best? Because that's what I'm focused on here in this debate and been focused on for this entire 15-month campaign that we've been running on.
Well, and thank you for clarifying that you didn't call me an ogre.
No, again, for the record, it was Mr. Fetterman that was apparently called an ogre in the call. Not you. However, I do want to get
she wishes. She wishes. I wish you had called me an ogre.
I know. Yeah, that just that's for some reason that reminded me of the Trump and Vance yelling at Zelensky when they were like, "You don't have the cards." Like, I just want to say that to her. Like, you don't have the cards. It's over. I have the high ground.
Yeah, man. But hey, I hope it's what, Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
That election.
August 4th. That sounds right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like that is God. It feels like this has been endless. It feels because they've been going at it. I mean, like the fucking Maine Senate, that feels like it was like a million years ago, right? Like when Graham Plattner won, right? And they've already chosen the replacement since then.
Right. It's really crazy. I think it's interesting how kind of long these cycles of like the public kind of changing course takes. I think like we've been alive. Unfortunately, we've been alive long enough at this point to see this a few times.
Unfortunately, we've been alive. Yes.
And it's been I think a fairly kooky time period that we've been alive in. But we've been alive long enough to see this play out a few times. And I do think that like this is really starting to change. People are really starting to see through this shit and re-embrace this sort of like, you could call it left populism or just like a basic class consciousness coming back to people. Cause like, if you look at Abdul and like the DSA candidates and stuff, it's like, they have some like cool ideas that I think would be really transformational, but also it's like a lot of it is just the fact that they believe in something and they're upfront about it. And people, they're saying it in a way people can understand. And it's just, that up against like Israel comes to me in my dreams is just not gonna that doesn't cut it anymore. And it's just really interesting to see, because I think being younger and thinking like that Obama was changing something was kind of wrong, but like then like I thought things were changing when Bernie Sanders ran for president, and that didn't work out. But it's like each one of those things I think is a part of the pile, the part of the tower you're building, and it does feel like some of that is coming to fruition finally, like 20 years later.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just people can feel how things have gotten more expensive, right? I was reading something before we started streaming today where it was like groceries are like have grown 33% more expensive since 2019, right? And I think
Yeah.
just people, it's just if they wanted using this shit would maybe be working if people weren't just feeling, you know, the heat. Weren't feeling like the you know, like
Yeah.
this thing used to be $2, now it's $6, right? And that happens so many times when you go shopping, right? It's just so something groceries that would have cost me $50 like 6 years ago are now costing me like 75 to 100, right? It's
Yeah.
just, you know, and you know,
And we're not really
quality
getting
of
paid
life is,
anymore.
yeah, I mean, we're getting paid a little bit. I'm getting paid a little bit more, but not like, you know, not it's not an equivalent jump, right?
Right.
And
Yeah. It probably didn't keep up with inflation. Like that's the,
yeah, you know, it's, you know, I mean, I have a good job and they take care of me and I'm very grateful for them, right? But you know, but it's still, you know, it's you know, it's systemic. And you know,
yeah.
and so this bullshit, a lot of the bullshit that these people, that these centrists, these establishment Democrats are peddling, it doesn't work anymore. It's just people were, you know, like the, you know, if Hillary had won, we'd be at brunch right now crowd, like, you know,
Yeah.
like those people are some of those people are starting to get radicalized. Some of those people are,
Right.
I've just spent 10 years in this vortex of nightmare shit. And they just realize, people are starting to realize, like, oh, the Democrats don't exist to do anything but fucking, kill progressives. You know, like that's all they, you know, her Haley's clear goal is to stop Abdul, right?
Yeah.
The moment she wins this, you know, I've seen people talk about how like she has no ground game in Michigan, right?
Right.
She would get Swiss cheesed in the general, because I mean, and maybe she'll win because the Trump brand, because Mike Rogers is endorsed by Trump and the Trump brand is so toxic that she might just win on the back of like people just aren't just people aren't fucking with Republicans right now like that, because of
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like mortified at like the world we're living in because of Trump, right? And they blame him for a lot of the current problems, right? But you know, if it's heated at all, right? If it's contested at all, right? She doesn't have a ground game. She doesn't have the infrastructure. Meanwhile, Abdul very much does. He has an infrastructure. He has a ground game. The only reason this race is even perceived as close is because she has $46 million and counting of APAC spending, and probably more coming in now that like they're
Yep.
money button, money button, money button, cost fallacy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like some of that money is just eventually probably going to go to like a hitman or some shit, right? But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I wonder how far this goes with like, that they'll just throw money at this shit. It's like, like Elon Musk tried this in 2024, I think, with some Senate candidate or House candidate. And it's like, yeah, it just doesn't do what it used to do because people are paying attention again.
yeah. Well, this race though, this governor race in Wisconsin, this primary, this is going a bit. This is a bit less contested now. Francesca Hong seems like the clear front runner of this. You said, what was the polling? What is her polling at?
It was saying she's up by double digits, which I think is like 10 or 11%. So it's not like 40 or something, but like she's
It's still notable.
That is
beyond margin of error.
Yeah, like that is pretty amazing, and I think that comes off the heels of there's like a little more time between these polls anyway, but like that comes off the heels of the debate last night, where again it's like, this might even be the thing that puts these like Midwest candidates over the edge, is that the data centers, because like that is so like across the political spectrum
Unpopular.
unpopular. Yeah, that is, and like I think Francesca was the only person who raised her hand when they asked the candidates like who supports a moratorium on on data centers. And it's
Hmm.
like that might be the game, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and it's so funny. It's just like, yeah, it's that joke of that we've been telling for years now, where like you say the word socialism and Americans freak out. You describe socialism and they're like, "Oh, that sounds good." Like,
I want
it's
that.
like so like somehow just putting the word democratic in front of it, I guess, was enough for people to be like, okay, I'll hear you out. And then it's
Hmm.
like, okay, that sounds pretty good, actually. And like, I just don't think people give a fuck about the terms that much. So
It's just you got one person who is just looking at the camera and is like, "Hey, I want to make your life easier. We can make your life. We have the means to make your life better. Just all you got to do is just let me in,
yeah,
versus like, like the other person who is saying it, right? But, you know, also is getting money from all the people that are keeping you down, right? So anyway, okay, so Francesca Hong, and okay, so so let's read this article. This Wisconsin Public Radio article, which I thought was a little adorable. The sun mixed with
mhm.
a lake breeze on a recent Sunday in Madison, creating the kind of glorious day that draws Wisconsinites outdoors and reminds them why they suffer through long winters. A few hundred people had other ideas. They gathered in a dark music hall on the city's east side for a rally in support of Francesca Hahn, the 37-year-old chef, bartender, state lawmaker, and democratic socialist who has turned the race for governor on its head. Hahn spoke to the crowd about building community and a progressive movement. She also danced to the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack as the crowd joined in. Hell yeah.
Okay.
We're going up, up, up. It's our moment. Na, 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 na. Or was it Soda Pop? My little Soda Pop. Okay, and then what makes this campaign different is that we're building the movement to meet the moment, she said, as the audience chanted her name. We're bringing joy and fun back into politics. Hell yeah, baby. And that's like, think that's another smart thing that the current branch of the DSA is doing. I think for years Bernie was just like, I'm right. I'm loudly right. He was
Yeah.
just, he was like a fire and brimstone like preacher, right?
Yeah.
Where now we have Zoran, who's just like, hey, I'm basically Mr. Rogers. I'm Muslim Mr. Rogers, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's an interesting choice of words to say. What did she say? She's bringing joy back into it or something.
Get joy and
And
fun back to politics. Yeah.
and that's so funny because like that's the shit they were doing at the Democratic convention in 2024, and
Hmm.
it was just attached to like the biggest dud of a candidate with like the worst, most right wing
Well, they
Democratic
said
platform
that.
in years.
They said that, and then she did. I mean, here's the thing: I was excited for Kamala for a moment, right? Like when she picked Tim Walz, I was like kind of hype on that because I do like Tim Walz, although I do think that he kind of cratered in that JD Vance debate. But
He did.
it was
I have
sad.
issues with Tim Walz, but we
Yeah, I
can.
mean, as far as like picks though, he was on the more progressive side of things, and he did say that like no kid should like go hungry and and or have to pay for school lunch or shit like that. Like he was saying like cool shit on the DNC
Yeah,
stage,
and he
right?
actually did
But
that. Yeah, as
and
governor.
but fucking when she went on that stage and said we will have the most lethal military, like I just remember just being like, why would you say that?
Yeah,
Why would you say that? Like,
yeah.
this is like the
Uh,
fun, like, we're all having fun, but also we are going to fucking murder. You have no idea how much we are going to be fucking murdering people. We will
yeah,
there'll be nobody on this planet that is not murdered by the end of
yeah,
my first term.
yeah. It's insane. And I don't know if you saw so in the past few months at some point,
Mhm,
her, I think it was her like foreign policy advisor or whatever,
mhm.
said in some interview or whatever or panel like, um that they would have attacked Iran, or they might have attacked Iran too, or something. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay, do
Well,
I think it
Hillary
would?
surely wanted to.
Yeah, yeah, and would it have been as disastrous as Trump? Probably not. But also, like, am
Hmm.
I supposed to be excited about that? Am I supposed to be like, oh, good, you like before effectively bombed Iran, and you
Yeah.
effectively bombed that school, and like
I mean,
it's
I think that a lot of people, there would be some people on our side of the aisle, or the left side of the aisle, right, that would have probably come up with the reasons for why it had to happen.
oh, of
You
course,
know,
yeah, the Democrats would have been, yeah, it would
they
have
would have
been
been
a
they would have been
fucking
more.
nightmare.
We might not even. It might have just been happening in the background. We might not even be like hearing about it. That much,
Right.
right? Just
Well,
like, oh,
that's the thing.
doing some routine. Don't look over there, but we're just doing some routine, like stuff.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's
Fly.
what, like, Biden wasn't able to go under the radar with that stuff, but like
Hmm.
Obama and Clinton, like they were fucking bombing fuckers all over the place, and no one
Yeah,
knew. Every time, it's like I still see this, like, this Obama, nostalgia shit where people are like, no scandals, nothing, he didn't do anything wrong, and it's like, bro, he bombed like 7 countries for
yeah,
the entire 8 years. He turned Libya, one of the most successful countries in Africa, into a, like, just completely degenerated, failed state. Like, it is a nightmare. Um, but yeah, it's Clinton with like Yugoslavia and shit. It's
yeah, man.
really, it's outrageous. But yeah, you see these Democrats, like, can't even bring themselves to like say that we shouldn't be at war. It's just like, why didn't Trump ask us? We would have said
Yeah,
yes. Like,
yeah. They did it the wrong way. That's the way. It's just they didn't do it the right way. We would have. We would be loving this shit if it were our guy, And I think there's like a lot of people, right? Like there's a lot of. I think there's like a lot of liberals, right? Like the Yvette Nicole Browns of the world, right?
yeah.
Oh, hey, AI viewers, streamboo.com. Nice. Thank
Sweet.
you. I love those AI viewers. Thank you, Extreme Torelli. Right. But yeah, so I think that there's a clear reason why, Francesca's soaring. She's getting these very glowing public radio articles, that you know, I think she's cool. I know less about her than I do about Abdul now, because I've been following the Abdul stuff, and I feel like that primary. I mean, I think that primary is. I think the I'm going to close this. I think that primary is the Michigan one is very important,
Yes.
because it is
It's
very
national. Yeah.
it's national, and I think it's like it's a big question. It is like, is Michigan going to go to the guy who has the good policies, who has the really strong ground game, who has like kind of like the grassroots support, or is it going to go to the woman who had just an outside lobbying organization spend like the budget, like 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 100 times the budget of the movie Obsession on, what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like a mid-range, mid 2000s comedy amount of money, right? Like how much money they spent on Dodgeball is getting
Right.
spent
Right.
on on getting Haley Stevens into office, which is funny because she sounds like a fucking Dodgeball character. She sounds like if you did a Dodgeball 2, like she could play fucking she could play Stephen Root's like younger sister, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I do think it's like a, um, I don't know, what do they call it? Like a bellwether for how these things are going to play out
Mhm.
going forward. Cause we've got like House seats in New York City, and it's like, it's easy for people to be like, well, it's New York. And it's like, obviously they do that every step of the way. It was like you know, with um Zoran Mamdani, and then like with these candidates, and it was like, at what point, are there a bunch of people winning House seats who call themselves socialists in New York, and it just that just works now. But like, yeah, it's easy to say like, oh, that's New York, but then like if a fucking Midwestern swing state Senate seat goes to a guy who was outspent by like 50 times by like the most powerful super PAC in the US. Like that opens the floodgates.
That's huge. If Abdul wins, and especially if Abdul wins in like a landslide, because I know that like there's some poll, right, that like had her up like 13% or some shit, right? But then
Probably,
like
yeah.
like the pollster, like it turns out the pollster had endorsed her, and they only did like
Oh,
phone.
yeah.
It was only like a phone poll, like, right, which skews like 70-year-olds, right? But this is like the kind of it's just there's these little moments that keep popping up. There's been a couple of them, but I want to highlight this one where just Haley Stevens just really shows who she truly is. Oh, can you hear that? No.
Choice and people who are working to disrupt our election systems that AIPAC is doing right now. I'm wondering why you're accepting their support. I'm a Jew, and my family lives here in this community. Yeah, and I.
Okay, wait. So, can I scroll through, because she starts out and then like Haley is like very much vibing with her, right?
Really think that those kinds of candidates are making meaningful message. I'm wondering
it's into like AIPAC and stuff.
Thank you so much for coming and bringing your kiddo.
Yeah.
It's so nice to meet with you.
It's nice to meet you too. But I'm just wondering, I want to make life and this country a safe place for him to grow up in. I'm wondering why you would want to accept their endorsement and $800,000 in ads this year.
Yeah.
Guys, I have received. How many endorsements have I received this election?
I think I've got a lot of local labor and
you are a great representative, and we really appreciate your support. I'm just hoping to see you guys. Oh my gosh, guys! Thank you so much for your community service.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So this is how it started. This is how it started.
Okay. Yeah.
With
so like they took like she did like the she did like the photo op, she did all that shit, right? Like, and it was just so, I don't know, man. It's just,
Democrats fucking hate their voters.
100%. 100%, but it is it's very funny to me.
Yeah, they can't, it's like they can't hide it anymore. That was the issue with Hillary Clinton, is like, I think she had too hard of a time like hiding her disdain for people. And like, I think Kamala Harris is like a clown, but like she, I think, is better at least seeming personable, and
she did you see Kamala endorsed Troy Jackson in Maine?
Really? Oh, she is so, dude. Plus like meeting with Mamdani about Israel or whatever. Like she is so like kissing the ring, and it's like, that is a good sign. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she's genuine. I don't want her to fucking run or for anything or win, but like the fact that like this happens, and I see people point to this and go like, oh, see, like Mamdani's a sellout. Like he's just gonna like, work with these fucking horrible Democrats and shit. And it's like, no, dude, do you see what's happening? He won. And now Obama and Kamala Harris, two of the people who have held the like first and second most powerful positions in the world, are like, so hi, Mr. Mamdani, will you do a little fucking photo shoot with me, please?
Hey, can I borrow some of your Riz? Can I stand near you and get a little bit of your aura on me?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think the calculus to Mamdani is probably like people like these people for some reason. People like Obama for some reason.
Our old nemesis is back.
Yeah. Oh my God. I
can't Mamdani fire the Zionist police boss though.
Okay. Well, but yeah, it's like people like Obama for some reason. People like Kamala Harris for some reason. So I would imagine that Mamdani is thinking like, I shouldn't say fuck you to Obama, probably. But it's not like he's having Obama in to be like, okay, now how should I water down all of my policies and fucking lie to everybody? And
he's still like laser focused on like, getting his shit done, getting as much of his shit done. And I would say why, answering the question, why can't Mondani, why can't
my mommy.
why can't Mandani fire the Zionist police boss though? I think that, I feel like there's a process to these things. I feel like, for as politically savvy he is, right? I feel like he still has to play the game. And I think that everything that he does is coolly calculated. And I think that maybe he's like, well, for a lot of the stuff I want to do, I also don't want to like piss off the entire police force. So even though maybe personally I don't like the police, this Zionist police chief, right? I don't like this person, right? But if I come in and all of a sudden I like gut the police department and I install my person, like that person, may not have the loyalty of the police, and I don't want the police in my city to become a rogue agency. And maybe like he's, maybe that's like a couple years down the road kind of thing, right?
Right.
Where,
I don't know if people understand.
He's been there for 6 fucking months,
Yeah.
7 fucking months or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if people understand the delicate balancing act of politics where I don't want to just make excuses for the guy. Again, I'm shitting on Obama and stuff, and it's like people did that for all his 8 years and they still do, and they're like, oh, but he can't because of this and the parliamentarian and the boop, like fuck you. But to an extent, it's like I understand that he didn't want to come in and immediately make enemies of Schumer and Jeffries and the police commissioner and the police force and all these people. And it's like the thing too about he might be in trouble with some of his constituency if he goes against Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who are popular with their, districts. But he, with the police force, it's like this is the NYPD. They are, what is it, like the 8th largest military in the world if they were an army. It's like, do we want this guy to just be assassinated instantly so that we can look back and be like, oh man, he was great, if only he wasn't killed? It's like there's enough of those in fucking history, man. I'm sick of I'm tired of Thomas Sankaras and Salvador Allende's and Mossadegh. I don't want those anymore. They're great. Yeah. I look back on them and I'm like, yep, see, this proves that the CIA does this and the US doesn't want to end unequal exchange and all this shit. But so I don't want to lose and die. I don't think that that's virtuous to do as a leftist. I think that, I think it's a delicate fucking game. I want him to be alive and well to do his work. And I think that, if his whole mayoralty goes by with, never doing some of these things, fine, then we'll, but he made sure that he has enough goodwill to do his sewer socialist shit. Good, he fixes all the potholes and he does.
He's just he's so calculated, right? That there has to be a reason why he's not doing it now. I'm sure that that's on the list of things he probably wants to do. Right. Yeah. But I also feel you gotta tackle it. And I feel like he's very smartly, right. I feel like once he has, more people, right. Once all the people that he endorsed, right, win their races in the fall. Right. Yeah. And now he has a decent chunk of like Congress and shit, right? Like, like a small chunk of Congress that's, on his team, right? And especially like if some of these people that he's, like he talked to Kamala, right? He hung out with Obama, right? Like if he's building relationships, he's building political power. And he's building political power for the DSA, right? And the DSA is surging in membership. The DSA is becoming, they have a higher they have a higher favorability than the DNC, which is broke because nobody's donating, because people in mass have lost their faith in national Democrats to fight this. They are being essentially exposed as this, flaccid, non-combative thing. They're just there, right? Meanwhile, DSA is seen very favorably because they have proven themselves willing to fight and willing to actually implement things and do things, right? And I feel like he is building power, and let's I think like in how often do mayors go up for re-election? What is the
I think it's 4 years.
4 years. Okay, so in in 3.5 years we can sit and we can say, you're like, why doesn't he do this thing immediately? Well, it takes time, and he's clearly focusing on stuff that is going to make people's lives better in his city, right? Like that is what he's first and foremost focused on, right? And I don't see any reason why firing the Zionist police chief would immediately improve people's quality of life in his city, right?
Right.
So,
and I would imagine
Sorry.
It's I would imagine though, like, and this might be what you're getting at, is like you do those things that improve people's lives, then he's got the goodwill of like most of the city. And then it's like, okay, if he's going to think about switching out the police chief and doing some other police reform, hopefully, and maybe like this is one thing that bothers me, is that he hasn't banned the land sales, the Israeli like West Bank land sales, that they do them in synagogues, so that then people protest them, and then they can say, look at these anti-Semites protesting a synagogue. And I think it seemed like he was playing this little delicate dance of like, I don't approve of this thing they're doing, but also people need to be allowed to enter their houses of worship, and but the police can't do this when they're managing protests or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. I wish he would ban those, but again, I'll give him a little time on it, and I hope that he's just building the goodwill, the political capital.
And we'll see. Listen, we will see. This, we are still very early on in his tenure. We're not even a quarter of the way through. You know what I'm saying? And it first and foremost, it really feels like everything he's doing is focusing on immediately, how do I improve quality of life, right?
Yeah, which is what people need. Like that's necessary.
And he's helping small businesses too, right? Like I was reading this thing about like how he's like destroying all these regulations, all these like very arbitrary regulations for like small businesses and stuff. Like, if you're like, if you own a restaurant in New York, apparently like you couldn't sell ice cream on the same permit that lets you sell food, right? Like stuff like that. Or like if you had a patio, you needed like a separate permit for like food on the patio, but then a separate permit for certain things on the patio. So you needed like 4 to 5 different permits just to like run a restaurant with a patio, right? And like shit like that. And he's just destroying that. So he's laser focused on just, I think he's going to be very popular. And I think that, once he's like established, and he is like the Obama of New York, right? Like the fucking like, I've got my fan base. I got people who will ride or die for me forever now, right? I feel like we're going to see, hopefully, let's knock on wood, later on, right? Later on, we're going to see a more like, okay, time to do some shit for me. Time to do, you know what I'm saying? time to clean out some of these closets. I think like first and foremost, though, I think he's just let's make people's lives easier, and I'm all for that. Now let's focus on a group of people normally known for making people's lives harder. TMZ, mainly most celebrities. But so so there's the Fauci hearings today, right, or this week, right? So recently, and we're not going to watch anything. I'm not going to watch any videos of the Fauci hearing because it's just, I assume, from everything I've seen, it's just dumb Republican guys saying, oh, you murdered people, but I do think that it was funny how it was so blatant that even TMZ grew a fucking conscience. It made this guy, who might be one of the 20 most evil people in the country.
He's the American Piers Morgan.
Yeah, and this motherfucker is just whoa, this is not right. But this was very. I thought this was very funny, and I was like, okay, well, absolutely, fucking let's talk about this. So.
I have not used TMZ's YouTube channel to vent personal feelings about issues, but I'm going to do that today. Watching Anthony Fauci before a congressional hearing taking the Fifth Amendment is just one of the most heartbreaking things I have seen in government in my lifetime. And this is something we need to reckon with. That I'm going to say up front, I have problems the way the CDC handled COVID. I think that they did damage to children, to adults, and I don't think they did it maliciously. I think they did it because they were using their judgment and were overprotective. And I think at times overstated things they said they knew but really didn't. And I have personal problems with the way that COVID was handled. That said, Anthony Fauci, over a period of decades, has been an amazing public servant. In the 80s, I had many friends who died of AIDS, a horrible, painful death. And I had friends who lived because of Anthony Fauci, because he was willing to look at experimental drugs in a different way than they had looked at them before. And that really resulted in lives saved. And he has done so many other things in his career to thwart epidemics, to save lives. Not just in the United States, but all over the world. He has been a dedicated public servant who could have made a lot more money outside of government than inside, but he stayed. And now we are at a point where members of Congress, and yes, you, Rand Paul, are on a witch hunt. And the best I can say for Rand Paul is that he's being really honest. I mean, he has said now over a period of years, he wants Anthony Fauci in a jail cell. He has said it out loud. He wants him in a jail cell. That's the point of this hearing. That's why they're doing this. They want to take something that Anthony Fauci says and then claim it amounts to perjury, and they want to prosecute him, they want to convict him, and they want to throw him in prison. That's the point of this hearing. There is no other point of this hearing. There could be. I mean, there are things they could certainly ask him, but he can't answer. Because if he answers, it doesn't matter what he says. You know, if you can prosecute somebody for frickin' seashells on the beach shore, then you could certainly prosecute somebody for what they say in a congressional hearing. And that's the climate we're in. We are in a Senator Joseph McCarthy climate where there is such fear that people have, and legitimate fear that they'll end up in prison for what they say, no matter what it is, if they are on the wrong side of somebody in Congress or the administration, that they have been silenced. And that's where we are right now. We are in Senator Joseph McCarthy territory. And the idea that you have to watch this man take the Fifth Amendment. And again, I will say that I disagreed personally with some of the CDC decisions. Absolutely, I did. That said, he's a public servant who worked for us and saved lives for decades. And we are turning him into what Rand Paul wants to be, a criminal. And Rand Paul has a political agenda, and it is prevailing here. Watching Rand Paul order security to throw Anthony Fauci's lawyer out of that hearing was unbelievable to me. We are in a dark period of America.
You know that's true when TMZ believes it.
Day one.
You know.
Yeah,
You
I don't know a lot about, like, I mean, maybe this is your point, that they're not like a very political organization normally, but yeah, it's they're doing they aren't they doing like DC reporting now or something?
DC reporting, but I don't think they're not like partisan. Like I don't think they're very partisan, and I don't think they're like,
No.
you know, team Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like they're, you know, I think that they're mainly. I think it's just a sign of the fucking times, right? That you have TMZ. It's just like a canary in the coal mine situation, right? That like even TMZ is talking about it.
Right.
Like even TMZ is like, holy fucking shit, guys. You know?
Yeah.
Like what the absolute fuck, you know? Like what the fuck is going on, man? You know? This is fucked, you know?
Yeah.
You know? Like it's just it's just this a very, you know, I just thought it was funny. I mean, here's the thing. I think it's like, you know, I mean, I agree with him. It's scary, right? That like, you know, I admittedly don't know enough about, you know, Fauci, and you know, I mean, when COVID was happening, right? It very much felt like, oh, there was like a moment where we could have like taken some real precautions to like really limit the amount of COVID that actually happened in this country, right? And instead of our government like really spent as much time as possible just acting like it wasn't a thing until the moment where they're like, fuck, it is a thing, and now we have to, you know. And so I think they kind of went too far in the other direction, right? And I felt like, you know, I assume that Fauci and the CDC were just doing their fucking best with like an insane hand that they had been dealt, right? You know, I mean, who knows, right? But it really feels like there is some sort of political axe to grind, you know, with a lot of this shit, right?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, and perceived Trump enemies and shit, and you know.
Yeah, I definitely think the Republican obsession with him is ridiculous.
Mhm.
I don't, you know, again, it's not that I'm not super familiar with this history either. And this guy was saying that Fauci was good on AIDS. You know, okay, I don't know. I wasn't there, but what I've read is that he was part of the cover up too, until, you know, Reagan couldn't ignore it anymore.
I mean,
so like,
also believable.
Yeah, but like, yeah, and my issue with the COVID handling was like, you know, for, you know, I can give Fauci a break that he was working under Trump for one thing, and he, you know, that like I'm
That
sure,
can't be easy, you know.
right? It's
It's like
yeah, and
working under Kanye. It's like they're just doing their best, man. It's just they got a
right.
3 a.m. phone call. We're gonna do the opposite of everything we've been doing. It's just
Yes.
gotta kind of fucking play ball with that shit, right? You know,
Yeah,
like
and so he, you know, I think he was in some ways just doing what he could with this
Mhm.
insane president he worked for. And I think, you know, he could have like quit and just gone, you know, whistleblower with it, and that would have been cool. But maybe
He
he
probably would have
did
been
more
jailed
good
faster.
keeping his job. Yeah, I don't know. But my issue with the COVID stuff was like, yeah, they ignored it. and then it was like, okay, now we have to do something. And obviously, like the lockdowns, like I get it, it sucked, and like um I don't think it did what they claimed it would do, which was like,
Mhm.
though this will stop the spread, and then somehow like this, I don't know. Like I know Trump was saying stupid shit. I don't think they were claiming that like, oh, it'll be gone in 2 weeks once we lock down. And like, no, but I think that there was always like a better way to manage this shit. But then it was like, you know, Biden beat Trump in the election, which was, largely like a
It
referendum
was
on
mostly about
Trump's handling of COVID.
Mhm.
Um, and then Biden just fucking does away with everything. It was just like, no, oh yeah, fuck this, we're done, everything's fine, go back to work, fuck you, suck my dick, and like,
Mhm.
and Fauci's right there going like, oh yeah, 5 days is fine. Oh yeah, oh no, yeah, yeah, one day is fine. Like fuck you, man. Like, because
Mhm.
this is the thing about COVID is that like um there's like some amount of like immunity to like catching it again when you have it, like, and then for like 2 weeks after or something, but over the long term it damages your immune system. So all
Oh,
of this shit
100%.
that people were saying is that like, oh no, like you should get your body acclimated to it, and that'll build immunity to it. And it's like, no, we'll do that with a vaccine. And then we got a fucking like vaccine that does almost fucking nothing. But like,
Mhm.
um, the thing is that like, yeah, it damages your immune system. And that was never like, I don't think that was ever like communicated as clearly as it needed to be.
Mhm.
Um, and then instead of COVID relief money going to outfitting government buildings and schools and whatever else with new what is it, HEPA filters, the like air purifiers that like
Mhm.
take viral particles out of the air, and like now there's like UV light shit that they have, and like the NFL is starting to use those in their locker rooms because all their fucking players are getting strokes and shit, because that's what happens when guys in their 30s get COVID over and over. um and so like that shit really bothers me because like um
Mhm.
on a personal level, like it affects me a lot because like my wife and I are immunocompromised. And when we get COVID, it fucking hits us really hard still. And
Mm.
we get every fucking
I've had it
vaccine.
twice, and both times I was, like, near
Yeah.
death. Like
Yeah. And we get every fucking booster too. I don't know if people are even aware that like you're supposed to get a booster every year. And if if you have health issues, you should get one every 3 months. And
Mm.
like that's what we've had to do. And we still, it still fucking hits us. And then on top of that, it's like people don't realize that like, okay, even if you don't feel it, and maybe there's like little things people are ignoring, the symptoms they have and stuff, but like um even if you don't feel it, if you're like, no, I'm fine, like I didn't get it, like it
Mhm.
is, you are getting it, like you are exposed to things when you are like around people. Like
Mhm.
people are carrying things in them that aren't necessarily causing the infection for them. um and the thing about COVID is the more it gets into you and the more times it gets into you, the more it fucking damages your immune system. And the more people are, again, seeing strokes happening in much younger people, heart attacks happening in much younger people.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a real like fucking disaster waiting to happen here. And again, it was, COVID, sorry, Biden, uh, oh yeah, what I started to say before was that instead of this COVID relief money going to air filtration and shit, Biden fucking gave it to the police. He told states and municipalities like, oh, you know what? Like, you don't have to use it for that. You can give it to the police. It
Mhm.
was like, so the fucking police got another fucking cash injection, instead of us doing fucking anything about this. Because now, if you talk about this with most people, I mean, I don't know, online at least, like Twitter or whatever. I don't want to impugn like the entire But like, yeah, it's like if you talk about this with people, they're like, they think you're insane, or they think you're saying that like, oh, we should be on lockdown forever. Everyone has to wear a mask forever, and it's like, no, dude. Like, there are things we could fucking do so that we'd all be a lot safer walking around breathing each other's air. But we just don't do it because in this country, it's like, well, it's been long enough. Fuck it, we're done with that. So like, and now I'm paying like, $25 per test or whatever, because Biden got rid of free testing and got rid of he got rid of the tracking, all this shit that Trump said that he was suggesting during the first year of the pandemic. And people, all these Democrats, all these people are just going, oh my God, Trump is so crazy. This is so terrible. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And then Biden comes into office and actually does all of those things. And everyone's like, oh, I guess it's fine. Okay, well, we can go back on the planes and shit. Great.
Fine, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's a nightmare, but and I don't disagree with any of that, but I do think that making Fauci kind of the martyr for all of that is,
oh yeah, it's insane.
It's a little crazy, and it is. But I did think it was very funny that that TMZ is like, we're reaching a dark period of human history.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like, this is the thing, like this is what ushered it in. But yeah,
right. Yeah, I always wonder that with people who say that stuff. It's like I think it was like Brittany Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' wife, when like Trump was like popping off about Taylor Swift on Truth Social, and she was like, I can't believe he's saying those things. Like, I don't know about this Trump guy anymore. And it's like, so that's what did it. That was
it is funny. It's just, you see like every single person, like every person, hit their personal limit with this. This was TMZ. TMZ was right now Fauci getting questioned, Very funny. Okay, so we got one thing left that I want to cover. Which, listen, as much as I as much as I love 30 Seconds to Mars,
Oh, I forgot about 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars. Which is a band I don't think I've ever knowingly listened to a song of theirs, but I am glad overall that they exist because of the joke in the movie Pop Star, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, where Tim Meadows says to Andy Samberg, I told you 30 Seconds to Mars is a band, not a fact. Because it's like, oh, you go out 1 minute. He's like, oh, that's like going to Mars twice.
That's that movie I think I've seen. That was years ago, but yeah,
it's classic. Watch it again, man. Actually, and also Akiva from Lonely Island. I love Lonely Island. I've seen Lonely Island live. Lonely Island is one of my favorite comedic groups. They actually did like two singles like a couple of years back, and like, dude, drop that album, guys, because they haven't lost it. They haven't lost it. They're fucking the baseball, I forget, the Bash Brothers EP that they did, or an album that they did a couple of years ago, was fire. Like, just great. And then the Bash Brothers Netflix special is a work of art, probably, like, like just they did like Lemonade, but from like two roided up baseball guys, and Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco, right? Like, they played them, and it was like this weird psychosexual love story that they did. And God, the music, some of the songs there are just classics, and I love those guys. Anyway, so, and then Akiva Schaffer did the Naked Gun last summer, which the Naked Gun reboot is amazing. It is amazing.
I did see that.
That is a lot of fun. Liam Neeson is perfect in that. But yeah, anyway, that has nothing to do with any of this. So Jared Leto, guy who we've known that he was this thing for a while, because he was accused of stuff and then it didn't really affect his career, and then he kept getting put in movies despite that every movie he was in bombed. I mean, like literally, like the new Tron movie bombed. You know, fucking God, what else? He's been in a handful of things. He was in Blade Runner 2049, bombed.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's a great movie, but still bombed, right? Fucking, he's been in a handful of things. He was in the new Masters of the Universe, bombed. He is box office poison. He is not good. He is overrated. I think his talent is wildly overblown. He's been great a couple of times, right? You know, I know that he won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, he's fantastic in you know, the Darren Aronofsky movie he was in. What was that called? I forget. But it's a great movie. But I just can't remember because my brain is at the end of its rope right now.
Yeah,
I've listened to too much Haley Stevens tonight. Too much of Haley Stevens' voice.
She stuck it to you.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yes. You know, my brain is turning into Haley Stevens anytime anybody just gives her any sort of criticism. I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving now. But anyway, so we've known this, but so the BBC did this special, this little mini doc, Hollywood's Dark Secret, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to watch this. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's end the show right.
Jared Leto, Oscar-winning actor, rock star, fashion house ambassador. But who is this man really? Behind the fame and glamour, dark rumors about his behavior have been circulating for decades. I had to find out more. Last year, we became aware of a story that was posted on Instagram by a DJ based in LA called Ali Teals. She had reposted on her Instagram story a Facebook status that she had written in 2012. It read, "You're not really in LA until Jared Leto tries to force himself on you." And she went on to describe him as Hollywood's most persistent predator. This is not some random anonymous account. Ali is a high-profile DJ. She's kind of an LA it girl. She has over 100,000 followers on Instagram. But what surprised me the most was the reaction. A deluge of women started coming forward to Ali with their own allegations about sexual misconduct by Leto, which she then reposted anonymously on her Instagram story. And there seemed to be a theme. Many of the posts related to incidents that these women said took place when they were teenagers. This really is not something that you see every day as a journalist. If all of this was true, these were allegations on a massive scale about a very big player in Hollywood. So we immediately started investigating and speaking with women who had crossed paths with Leto over the years. One of the women I found was Etta. She met Leto in 2014 when he approached her outside a modeling agency in LA. He asked for her email so he could invite her to his Oscar party.
The first email, I just sent an image of the invitation. I said, "I thank you for the invite, but I couldn't make it even though I'm sure it would have been fun." And he responded, "Text me," and gave me his number.
Did he know you were 16?
I know for sure, if not then, I did tell him a couple days later when we were texting.
The text quickly turned into phone calls, with Leto always calling from a private number.
Like at first it was like, you know, who did you sign with? Oh, how did it go? But it quickly moved into, oh, well, you're a virgin. Do you have any kinks? Like, what are you interested in? Oh, can you squirt?
That's what it moved to.
Like, she seemed very interested in squirting.
Jesus.
It did at least.
Jesus. Damn.
Where do guys get this confidence, man? It has never even occurred to me to like, like when she said and then it started moving into like, I thought she was going to be like, you know, asking me to meet at his hotel, like just like sort of suggestive things. And it's like, Jesus Christ, don't.
I've never. I've never asked a woman if she squirts. I just that's just something you find out. That's just something. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a game of golf. That's like between
Right.
me and the field. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I just got to see if I can
she'll
if I
demonstrate
can
if
come
she
in
wants
on
you to
par.
know.
Yeah, you know. Okay, well let's keep going. We're only 3 minutes in. Nice.
Just once mention him and I having sex at some point. I remember feeling like nervous, a little like anxious, a little uncomfortable, but like at the time I remember I had a really hard time like saying like no to things or like putting boundaries up. But obviously I was 16, so I shouldn't have to.
You're a child.
Etta is one of 5 women I spoke to who received strange calls from Leto. 4 of them were teenagers at the time, and they say the calls were often very sexual in nature.
It's about 2 years after I met him, I got a call from Jared. From what I recall, he said his lawyer was concerned about his relationships with women. He kind of like chuckled, laughed at that part, and said that that his lawyer wants to have all the women in his life sign NDAs. Commencing on the date on which my association with you began, I hereby acknowledge and agree that a confidential relationship exists between you and me. It didn't seem right being able to be held liable for something that I had done previously before I even knew I wasn't allowed to speak about him. It seemed like a really great way to get sued. I never signed it. I made an excuse the first time and then just didn't respond after that.
As I started digging, I realized there have been allegations swirling around.
I mean, especially if they're minors, right? Wouldn't they actually like technically need the adult signature on that, right? Like, I can't imagine those would be like. It's like an NDA that you like. I think that probably it was more of like a scare tactic, like, oh, you know, if you ever talk about this, we're going to come after you. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is like a preliminary to that, right? Like, because I doubt that, like, if, you know, if you got this NDA signed by a teenager that you just emailed and, like, their parents were, like, nowhere near that, like, I doubt that's any sort of legally binding. I have to believe, Joe.
Right.
Like,
Right. Yeah, I mean,
you know,
it's which honestly, it's like, oh, I signed a contract with a teenager and it didn't work out. It's like, what are you, a student loan officer? Like, like, yeah, maybe it shouldn't work that way. Maybe we should change how all that shit works.
Yeah, dude, Jared Leto and fucking Sally Mae, bro. Like, okay, let's keep this psycho trainer moving.
So for years, all the way back in 2005, there was an article in the New York Post alleging that Leto was approaching teen and underage girls at a hotel in New York and texting them. But seemingly, no one paid much attention. I really wanted to know how long this had been going on for. And that's when I met Isabel.
Oh my gosh, this is probably right around the time when I met him. I look like such a baby. Looking back on these pictures, it's so crazy I look so young.
In 2002, Isabel met Leto in the mall where she was working in Las Vegas. He asked her if she wanted to hang out later after her shift.
He asked me to come meet him in his hotel. It was really close to my work, and I pulled in, and it was this dingy motel. I didn't think much of it. I just was like, oh, he's still getting ready, and we're gonna meet up there, and then we're gonna go out afterwards. So I knocked on the door, went in. I sat on the bed, and he was like, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna hop in the shower real quick. Do you mind waiting? And I was like, no, of course not. I go finish getting ready.
Okay, so he went and got in the shower. And what happened next?
This is where it gets hard. Oh, sorry, I gotta get myself together. I was sitting on the bed waiting for him to get ready, and he called me, and he was like, hey, like, come in here so we can talk while I'm, you know, in the shower.
Normal shit.
And so I went into the bathroom. I don't think there was many words exchanged. And when he opened the shower curtain, he started kissing me. And then he grabbed my hand
I don't even know how to say this part, but he grabbed my hand and he, I guess, started like touching himself with my hand, like using my hand to, I guess, masturbate himself with my hand. Alarms started going off in my head. Like, what are you doing here? Like, this is not what you came here for. And I pulled away and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. He got out, put a towel on. There's a weird thing that I always remembered. He went outside, and I remember he like specifically like looked to the left and looked almost like seeing if there was anybody around before he let me out of the room. When I went home, I looked him up on like a computer, and that's when I realized he was in his early 30s.
The allegations I was hearing spanned nearly 15 years.
Requiem for a Dream. I just remembered it. I just remembered it was Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, yikes. Jesus Christ, yikes.
He's such a fucking freak, dude.
Isn't
he like a cult leader or something too?
Yeah, he has like a private island or some shit. He's fucking, dude. I hope, God, please, if there's any fucking justice in the world, like, let this be what finally ends this guy. Like, please, God.
I think it's time we ban private islands. I'd say that's not something you're allowed to own.
Yeah, exactly. You know, no man should own an island. But yeah, dude, Jesus Christ.
I wanted to speak to insiders who could give me an insight into the way he operated, you know, anything that they might have witnessed behind closed doors. It was really hard getting someone to talk to me, but eventually I found someone who agreed. I think that's him. Hi, Simon. Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much for coming all this way. Here, let me introduce you to the lurkers over here. Simon worked with 30 Seconds to Mars for around a decade. He told me what he witnessed when the band were recording in a house.
He would be texting with girls. There would probably, typically on a given day, be about 2 girls that might stop by. It wasn't uncommon that he would go let them in, point to a chair for them to sit down, and possibly ignore them for about 10, 15 minutes. He might make a sort of rude remark. Maybe it might be, "You're a dirty girl, aren't you?" The feeling was he was trying to assert control, trying to assert a sense of power. There was one particular instance that I clearly remember where a girl had to be dropped off by her parents. This particular girl was very young looking, and Jared would have been in his early 30s. They took off to the bedroom. When they returned, she had to contact her parents to come pick her up. Probably only an hour had gone by. She just kind of sat there. The feeling in the air, it felt like shame and embarrassment. I just remember being really moved by it.
So, listen, this is all horrifying, but I do want to know how they went about casting the actor who played Simon in this, like the voice actor. Like, is this like an anime guy? Like,
that's a good pull. Yeah, I can see that.
You know, like just
Is this
like did they have to audition? It's like we're auditioning like you're playing the role of Simon. He's you're gonna just read a real testimony, or is it just like, oh, I know, like Bob's down to just read these horrifying personal accounts of.
I remember seeing Jared with these girls. Like.
Yeah, and then like in the following week in the same booth, like, give me the Power Stone, I'll take it to a mountain.
Yeah, is this another AI movie I didn't know about?
Yeah, this is you know, we didn't realize how good we had it with the what was it? It was the Neil Blomkamp AI movie.
Yeah.
Okay. We got we got 6 minutes left, baby. Let's do this.
Clara was 17 when she says a man approached her at a 30 Seconds to Mars concert and told her that Leto had seen her and was interested in getting her number.
At that age, I had just been coming out of a really awkward time in adolescence. I had always been very, very shy, painfully shy. I'd blush a lot, I'd trip over my words. It was very validating that someone like him would be interested in me at all. So sometime after that concert, he had invited me to meet him at a place called the Chateau Marmont, which is right there in the main area of Hollywood. I had a friend with me at the time, so he said, go ahead and bring her.
Oh, I saw that from the
He
studio.
was at a table with friends. He kind of waved us over. We sat down, my friend and I, and just having some general banter about things. We had kind of drifted into the realm to talking about the age of consent. I had mentioned to him that my dad was in law enforcement, that I knew with certainty that here in California, the age of consent is 18. He just kind of shrugged it off like it wasn't a huge concern for him.
And he knew at that point that you were 17?
Oh, yes, he did know. Yeah.
Leto was 34 when Clara met him. That night, he invited her and her friend back to his house.
If you're following along at home.
We had gone in, we're sitting on the bed with him. And so he suggested to my friend, you can wait in the computer room while her and I hang out. That is when things had turned sexual, when my friend was in the other room.
Unlike in the UK, in California, it is a criminal offense for an adult to have sex with someone under the age of 18. The offense is called statutory rape. Leto had sex with Clara at least once while she was 17, she says.
No, I think it's 16 in the UK.
So there was probably, I would say, about 3 or 4 times that I had been to his residence. There was one time in particular where I had gone over, I went down the hallway into his bedroom, and he made a comment of, by the time I get back, I would like your clothes to be off. He had come back in the room, and he said, when he noticed that I was undressed, something to the effect of brave little girl. It was this theme that he kind of stuck with, wanting to see me as a younger girl. He told me, I would like you to call me daddy, and it was either pretend to be a little girl or my little girl.
I spoke to another woman who said Leto asked her to call him daddy during her relationship with him. She was also a teenager at the time.
As time went on, I realized more and more how scary that really was, being that age and being so naive and vulnerable. There is no well-adjusted man in his 30s who's going to look at a teenager and think, you know, wow, she would be a great partner. The only reason to approach somebody like that is because of how easily manipulated they are.
Let's talk about the lyrics. You can probably guess which lyrics I'm going to pick out of Up in the Air.
I don't know. Surprise me.
I'll wrap my hands around your neck so tight with love, love, love.
Yeah.
Quite erotic.
Is it?
Tell us a little bit
It's funny that you would take it that way.
Tell us what the song's about if that's not what it is.
Well, I think, what is it they say? Everything is about sex, except for sex. Sex is about power.
Jared Leto is no stranger to allegations about his behavior towards women. Just last year, the New York-based publication Airmail published an article featuring 9 women's accounts of alleged sexual impropriety perpetrated by him, which he expressly denied. But what's striking is how his career continued seemingly unaffected despite this reporting. Since then, Leto has been in 2 major movies, Tron Ares, and he also recently played Skeletor in Masters of the Universe. 30 Seconds to Mars have also announced that they're going on tour in 2027.
Seeing him continue to do whatever he wants to do and get accolades for it is pretty infuriating because he's left a trail of emotional destruction for a lot of young women.
So do you think he thought he'd get away with it?
Well, he has, right? He has gotten away with it. This was 25 years ago. Apparently he's been doing it. Apparently people know about it. So by all means, I think he has gotten away with it.
It's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know how, like, I remember you asking this about Jerry Seinfeld. It's like, how is it that some of these people just like, not that Seinfeld's done this shit, but like, yeah, he dated a 17-year-old. Like, that was fucking weird. Like, that's not okay. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't, especially with this guy, it's like, it's all there. It's all out there. I don't know what, yeah, fucking private islands, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to God though, like this feels like it's changing things. Like it feels like, and I think like Masters of the Universe bombing, as much as it sucked for like that studio, I think like maybe it's good because it like finally puts the nail in the coffin of like, excuse me, like of like putting him in things. Like, I mean, and from what I heard, actually I heard that like he's actually fantastic as Skeletor, but it's kind of like a role that anybody could play because he's just all CGI, and
Yeah.
like they put a voice filter on him, so like
He already looks like
anybody,
him.
yeah, anybody could just, you could really swap that out and do, you could do Jim Carrey for Skeletor and Masters of
Yeah.
the Universe too, if it's successful enough on Amazon, to warrant a sequel, right? But yeah, man, I mean, let's hope that this
Yeah. Well, because this
ends
is
Leto,
yeah,
man.
I mean, this is how these things come crashing down, right? It's like
Mhm.
at some point with like Louis CK, like, Tig
Mhm.
Notaro mentioned something in an interview, and then like I don't know, Jen Kirkman or something like said something on a podcast that was clearly about him, even though
There
she didn't say
were
his name. It's like things
I
sort
don't
of
think
start
she
to
said it was I don't think she said it was I think it really was it was something that like people knew about, because I remember um reading about it. Man, I remember reading about the Louis CK stuff on like Gawker, right? Where it was like, who is the comedian that keeps masturbating in front of different female comics in hotel rooms, right? Like it was like this
yeah.
serial masturbator. It's an open secret in the comedy world, right? And it's and the implication was it people really think it's Louis C.K. And I remember I was like sitting down like like this girl I was seeing in like 2014, 2015, and I remember like telling these people straight up like one night, like we were all at dinner and saying like, in a couple of years, Louis C.K. is going to go down. I'm calling it, right? Like he's going to go. And then 2 years later, right? 2 to 3 years later, sure enough, boom, and he goes down. And but like none of the, like all of the women that were in the article weren't like people that like were on anybody's radar, because people thought it was like, I forget the name of this female comedy duo.
Oh,
Uh,
Garfunkel and Oates.
yeah, Garfunkel and
Yeah.
Oates. People thought it was Garfunkel and Oates, but then they weren't mentioned in the article, right? And
Yeah.
so it was just, there was like a lot of like kind of vague whispers, right? But with Leto, like it really, or Leto, or however the fuck you pronounce his last name, right? He like the article came out a couple years ago, right? Like there was that article where it was
Yeah.
like he's a bad guy. We know that he's a scumbag, right? And then he just like kept, then like Tron Ares announced casting, and you're seeing that trailer in front of everything, and he's in it, and it's just like, why is he in this? And then Masters of the Universe, and he's just announced for Skeletor, and it's like you can get so many people for Skeletor. Like you could, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, and it's not
Yeah.
like it's not like he's some like irreplaceable talent. I know he won the Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, right? And he's been very good in things. I think he was very good in Blade Runner 2049. I think he was great in Requiem for a Dream. Might still probably be, from the movies I've seen of his, probably still his best role that I've ever seen, right? But it's just it's like, but he's not like this he's not a generational talent. I'm sorry, he's not,
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is like it's one thing, like I can understand at least how it happens. Not that it's like okay, but like I can understand how it happens when it's like a leading man who's like just, he has the Midas touch with anything he's involved with. And it's like, yeah, the like studios are gonna make the cold calculation that like we will make this much money with this guy in the movie.
Mhm.
And then it's like, well, like other people who are involved in the movie then like are they going to go like, no, I don't want to do it because he's in it? Maybe some people do, but others are like, I have to work. I don't know. Like, I need to get paid.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, just like everyone's incentivized to make certain decisions about these things. So I can see it. But yeah, if he's not even like,
He's not
a
a
cash
bankable
cow,
star
like,
though. Like he's
yeah,
not a bankable. Like
yeah.
he's proven himself to be quite the opposite. Like Tron was a massive financial failure. Blade
Mhm.
Runner 2049 was a big was I think got rave reviews, right? But it was a box office disappointment. And then Masters of the Universe just bombed. You know, like it is. You know,
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe it's catching up to him because he's not
yeah.
making people money
It's just
anymore.
it's just yeah, exactly. Where it's just like his agent's like, you know what, actually, we're not gonna sue you. Just put it out. Just you can put
Yeah.
out the mini doc, you can put out the 15-minute documentary where we want an excuse to cut ties with him anyway. He's really not making us, he's not worth the investment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the fact that he's like a, rock star too, it's like there's so much of that in I don't know if I'd say it's one more than the other, Hollywood versus like music, but like yeah, I
Very
mean, that's
interconnected.
such a problem. Like it's really disappointing when I look back on like some of some of my favorite fucking musicians,
Mhm.
Steven Tyler and Jimmy Page
David
and
Bowie.
Axl Rose, I think, has some weird shit. Yeah, David Bowie. Um, Dude, even Taylor Swift like dated a 17-year-old when she was in her
Yeah.
20s. Like it's like, it's like what's wrong with you people? And it's
Listen, that's just cements her as the legend. It's just you're an all-time legend
that's
where you just
feminism.
got
She's taking it back.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I broke the glass ceiling
Right.
on Rockstar pedophilia.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
yeah, I don't want to make excuses for it, but I guess it's like it's one thing when you're like, uh yeah, I don't know, she was like 24 or something, and it's like you're stunted.
I mean,
Like
if you read
she
her,
was
if you read any of her lyrics from around that time, you would know that she's mentally 16. So
right, exactly. I mean, that's what happens to those people. And it doesn't make it okay, but it is like, okay, you're like a weird, like forever young, like
mhm,
24-year-old, and there's a 17-year-old, and their family knows you, and like, okay, I guess. But like
mhm,
Steven Tyler being I think 23 or 24 at the time, and like
mhm.
basically adopting like a 14-year-old, and it's just like fucking horrendous. Like
Yeah.
he did that, like Ted Nugent did shit like that. Like it is so gross. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I have no defense of Ted Nugent, but like Steven Tyler is like he's musically, he's a fucking hero of mine. And he has done good things for people too. Like
Mhm.
he's got like a foundation now for like, like troubled kids or something. And it's like, I hope he's not just using that to get access. I don't think so, but like it's like it just fucking sucks. It's like, why is it that either this industry attracts these people, or it, you know, like
It
something
certainly
about
enables
being
them.
right, or yeah, or something about being in that industry, again, stunts you, or like
Yeah.
just does something weird to your head. And it's like,
Mhm,
whatever it is, it's just like this, it's hard to contend with because it's such a problem in this
mhm.
society. And at the same time, I'm like, I, but like, I like cool, I like good music. I don't know, I like riffs. Is that a crime?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Like,
You know? Well, I'm just glad that my kink was always MILFs. You know what I'm saying? It's just we're punching up, not down. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
That's just thank you God. That was what gets me going. Uh,
Yeah.
a whole different category on Pornhub. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You know?
Whole other set of problems. Yeah.
Exactly. You know? yeah, so that was the fun way we ended it. I always want to end these with a fun one, and that was
Right.
what's
Just
more fun than that?
Just a positive, feel good story.
Hell yeah,
Human interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, well, we will next Wednesday if you're down. We
Hell
can
yeah.
do this again, and then we'll at least have the Michigan results to talk about. It'll actually be very fresh, right?
Yeah.
And then when is Wisconsin governor?
I want to say that's like a week later. So I guess
Okay.
same deal. Yeah, we'll be talking the day after as well.
Yeah, let's knock on wood. Let's say a prayer for our friend Abdul. Let's hope that his handsomeness carries him.
Yeah.
Much like
Inshallah.
Sauron's did.
I want to respect the where he's coming from.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you have a good night, Joe.
All right, you too, man. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks to Dito A and Alaniana, the Starbard and Marxist archaeologist, and that AI viewers spam bot.
Oh yeah, #1 fan.
Hell yeah.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.